Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'll be showing you how I draft my cupped corset with yoke. I'm going to be using my basic bodice block for this tutorial. I'd like to mention that I won't be doing anything special for the waist snatching because the waist on this pattern tutorial is my exact waist measurement plus 1 inch sewing allowance. So by the time I take out my waist dart, which is 0.5 on two sides equals to 1 inch, I have automatically taken out 1 inch from both sides of my pattern. You know this pattern is half scale. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. And the first thing I'll do is to extend my dart line up to the shoulder point. The next thing to do after drawing this line is to determine the height of our bust cup. You're going to measure the distance between your shoulder to the bust point. You're going to measure and divide whatever you get by 4. Let me measure that. Mine is about 10.1. I'm going to divide that by 4. So that's about 2.5 inches. So you're going to now measure from your bust point. You're going to measure upward 2.5 inches. All we need to do is to square up that line. Then the next thing you do is to measure 1.25 from your bust point. You measure upward 1.25. Don't mind I'm not measuring from here. A part of my tape rule has already chopped off. That's why I'm being careful. But what you need to measure is 1.25. I've gone ahead to mark that. The next thing you're going to do is from this our neckline, you're going to mark 0.5 inches. You do the same on both sides. Then connect that back to this 1.25 mark we made earlier. The purpose of this step is to tighten your bust cup so it does not gape. Then what we're going to do next is to tighten our underbust. And what you do is to take 0.5 on both sides of your dart and take this back to your waist. Then with your armhole curve, you're going to take this back to your dart leg. Now that we're done doing this, the next step is to mark 0.4 inches on both sides of this bust line. If you are using centimeters, just take 1 centimeter on both sides. If you are working with inches, you can use 0.4 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark that on both sides of the bust line. Then connect this point back to the bust point. Next thing I will do is to mark out my side dart. My front is longer than my back by 1.5 inches. So I'm going to make a dart that is 1.5 inches wide. Then you connect that point back to your bust point. So in order for me to be able to close this dart, I'm going to cut this place open up to this bust point. After doing this, I'll be able to close my side dart. After closing my side dart, I'll also close this bust dart. The reason for doing this is just to have this area nicely fitting, but you can skip this part. But if you do this, the dress is going to fit even nicer. That is the essence of this bust dart, but it's not compulsory at the same time. So the next thing we'll be doing here is to draw our bust cup. From this folded part, you are going to go up about 0.5 inches. I can use 1 centimeter if you're working with 1 centimeter. Then from here, you're going to also mark 0.5 inches. You can also use 0.75 or 1 inch depending on how wide you want that mid panel to be. Then from here, you're going to connect this with your ruler. But to ensure that you are doing this right, the distance between this point and your curve should not be more than 1 inch, 1.25 inches. So I'll measure that to ensure that I'm not going in too deep or coming out too much. Here I'm trying to draw a slant line at angle 45. So from here I will mark my 1 inch or 1.25 mark. This is 1 inch and this is 1.25. Because I've folded this point here is no longer as straight, so it's a little tricky. That is why I extended this line. What I want to do is to extend this line further down. Okay. So this will serve as a guide for me because I'm folding this thing. It's already looking awkward, but I need this because I like the fit that comes with folding this part. Then I can now draw my curve. There is no rush. I'm just trying to get a perfect shape. So this is what my cup looked like when I was done. I tried for it to hit this point, but at least it's very close, so that works as well. Yeah, so I have my bust cup now. This is what my bust cup look like. If I didn't fold this area, I wouldn't struggle this much, but yeah, it is worth it. Next thing I'll do is also to draw out the cup here. Before I will do that, you come down, you measure in 1 inch from the side seam. Then from here, you can now connect this point like this. And this way, you are done with your cup. The next thing we'll try to do is to fold this dart here around here. This will help us to draw out our bust cup. And after doing this, I'll complete my bust cup. Here you can freestyle. You can go slightly lower if you want, depending on the shape you are looking at. This is what mine looks like at the end of the day. Then after doing this, I'm going to mark 1.5 inches round to form, because this cup is going to be like the 3-panel flat cup. So I'm going to mark 1.5 inches round. So this will be the first part of my boss cup, and these two will be the bottom part of my cup. Because I'm going to have a yoke, I'm going to extend this like this, so it's easier for me to connect my yoke, so it looks like a sweetheart around here. And I'm basically done with my pattern, so I'll use this upper part to be my yoke, and I'll cut each of these sides out, and I'll show you how we're going to connect this to form one. So I'm going to label this one so I don't mix them up. This is one, this is two. Please tape this when you are doing yours. Then I'll set these ones apart. For these two, you're going to tape it down like this so it becomes one piece. When you tape it down together, you should have a piece like this. Please ensure to tape all these parts down so you don't cut your fabric wrongly. So this is what you should have as one piece. Then you have this one, and this one. Please also for this one, try to label. You can write center front so you don't get it confused. Then this one will be side front. However you want to label it so that you don't get confused. You can also write up and down just so that you don't mix these pieces up when you are sewing. For this you can also write up and down. For this one, up and down. Anyhow you want to do it so you don't get these pieces mixed up, because you already have tiny pieces of different fabric, so when you are sewing you won't be wondering which one is going where. So this is what you're going to have at the end of the day, and this is going to be the yoke. For this that we took here, I'm going to also take it out here so that everything will balance out when I am sewing. So I'm going to close this, because if I cut my fabric like this, here is going to be longer than the cup when I'm joining. So I'll close this as well. In my next video, I will show you how I make my bust cup with the bust caging technique, and also afterwards how I draft the perfect mermaid skirt for this top. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like this post, share with your friends, and drop a comment to let me know how these videos are doing. See you all in my next video. Bye.